So I'm going to answer a bunch of questions relating to the tiny house and building in general, appliances kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna start answering, and if you guys have more questions you can leave them below and I will film another video answering them. If I've already answered them, I might be answering them again because I can't necessarily pinpoint a video at this moment that I've answered a certain questions in, just because they're more sporadic and I don't really just have them as like resources here. These are all the questions and this is the video. So I may in the future, but for now I'm just going to keep answering the questions. If I've already answered them, feel free to not watch this, I guess. Most of them are ones I've talked about briefly, but not necessarily answered like this. How did I do my electrical panel wiring and plumbing? So the electrical panel, there is none. It's just a one circuit thing, and I do not at the moment have a like a breaker box or something that you might have in a regular house. My brother, who built a tiny house, he has like, I don't even know, like 4 different circuits. His house is just 4 feet longer than mine, so it seems a little excessive to me. I feel like if something goes wrong, it's okay if the whole system is just like out. That might change in the future, but that's so I don't really have an electrical panel. The wiring itself was done mostly by my sister, who graduated this past May with an electrical engineering degree, and so she knows how to wire properly. She actually wired the addition in our house back in high school, so she knows what she's doing, and I actually don't think it's very hard to learn. Like, I think I could have learned it pretty easily, just like I learned how to build this house, but it was just one less thing that I had to learn and worry about. So I kind of let her do it, even though the little bit I did, I messed it up and she had to fix it. But I don't think it's very hard to learn. There was no professional who inspected it. We just got those little tester things to make sure everything was grounded properly, and so far obviously no problems, everything works great. The plumbing, I used PEX plumbing, which is the plastic plumbing that you use crimping rings around brass, I think. Brass, like elbows or a T or something. That is what I think a lot of tiny house people use, at least DIYers. Tiny Nest, who I mentioned in so many videos, they went into great detail about the PEX plumbing and really helped you learn how to do it if you don't know what you're doing, really. The tool that you have to buy is about like $70, the crimping tool, but besides that, the plumbing itself was pretty affordable and easy to install, unlike if I were to do like copper piping all through the house, which I have no experience with either, but that is a little more challenging. So my stove situation, I have a wood stove. I was gonna have a propane stove for the longest time, but then I was reading a bunch of reviews and I couldn't seem to find a, not cheap, but like under $1,000 propane stove that had really good reviews and was gonna heat the house really well. I just couldn't find one. If you guys find one, I mean, you can let me know, but at this point, I bought this wood stove for $250. It's a converted propane tank that someone on eBay did it all themselves and then put it up there, and I bought it. So that is the heat source for the house. I'm not gonna use anything else. There's a little plate thing on top for a little kettle of water to keep the moisture in the house. And then in terms of heating food, I'm going to get an induction stove. I will show a picture of it now, but it is, as far as I know, the best and most efficient stove you can get. It's not gonna have a it's not gonna sit in my countertop. My countertop's already there. It's just gonna plug in, and there's my burner for cooking. A toilet. I'm getting a composting toilet, I believe the Separate. I think that's the name of it, but that's what I'm planning on getting. There's not really a need for me to have a toilet in here yet because I sleep out here and all my things are in here, but I am still in my parents' house most of the time. Not most of the time, probably about 50-50 now. But, you know, I eat all my meals in there. I obviously shower in there. So there's not really a need for me to have a composting toilet, but I will be getting one probably once this tiny house moves, which I don't see moving for probably about 6 months at least. So my shower, a lot of people have commented about it and how they're really worried about the moisture buildup, and then the walls, which all they see is the paneling and white paint on top of it. I totally understand that. So for the most part, I prefer taking cold showers, and that's because I think they're healthier for you. So I don't see having a huge moisture problem in that respect of having, you know, a lot of heat in a small area. That's not to say I won't be taking any hot showers, because I am getting a hot water tank, but it's going to be a propane hot water tank. I don't see it being a problem, I guess. And if a problem does come up with moisture in that small bathroom area, then I'll probably end up putting a vent in, and I know a place where it would fit perfectly and it wouldn't really be a problem. The other thing is that I'm planning on having a sort of like a circular curtain rod thing with the shower curtain on it, so the curtain itself won't actually be touching the walls, and the water theoretically wouldn't touch the walls at all either. I haven't purchased that yet or really done too much research on it, but that's what I'm hoping to get. Another quick question, since we're kind of seeming, I feel like the question will come up again. I do not have a refrigerator in the house. I have a freezer. It's not in here yet. It's a chest freezer that will slide underneath the counter and then will pull out when I need it. I do not see needing refrigeration that much. I don't eat meat or dairy or eggs, so pretty much the only thing I need to refrigerate would be leftovers, and for the most part produce that I buy. If I don't use it, say within a few days, I can always freeze it and put it in the freezer. Obviously I haven't used that system. That's what I think will work really well for me. I will let you know if other things come up and that doesn't work very well for me. I realized I'm just kind of talking. I guess I should kind of ask the questions. Oh well. Registering my tiny house. I registered it once I bought the trailer, because I had to move the trailer from the place that built it for me to the current location. So it's registered, and I don't see, actually something I'm very curious about, I guess you don't have to have it registered if it's not moving on the roads, I guess. So if I move this tiny house, say in a year, to another property, I could stop paying registration. I'm actually not sure, but I'm paying registration for a while now at least, just because I think it's $75 a year to register your house, and then you could take it anywhere. The house itself is not oversized. The height of it is 13 feet 5 inches. It could be an inch taller, and I think once it gets to the ground, like it's barely off the wheels, but I think it's gonna sink some, so probably another 2 inches it'll sink, so I'll have some room there. The width of it, technically, because of the corner pieces of the vinyl, it is slightly over 8 feet 6 inches. So I'm not gonna have a problem bringing it on the road because I'm an inch over. We've talked to a few different people, meaning me and my brother, because my brother had the same issue, and he even talked to a police person who said, you know, that's not something we'll ticket you for. So I'm not worried about that. As people have seen in a few previous videos, my chimney is sticking out the front of my house, and yes, that does stick out way too far, so I would need an oversized transportation thing in order to move it if that's on, but my plan is to take it off every time it moves just because I don't want to have to deal with contacting someone and paying them to do the oversized transport. The last thing I want to mention is just the stairs. I get a lot of questions always about the stairs. The stairs were made by a welder who watched one of my videos. If you're still watching, that's awesome. And he is willing, he's located in upstate New York, so he's willing to build more of them. If you guys are interested in that, I will leave his information below. I think it would cost probably between $400 and $450 to build it, and then if you need it shipped or something, obviously that would be more money. Alright, that's all I have for this Q&A. I will see you guys today, tomorrow, sometime. If you have more questions, leave them below. Hope you're having an awesome day, and I'll see you soon.